Bears might be having some salary cap casualties coming up. We'll break down that and also give a little salary cap 101 next on the Unbearable Sports Podcast.
I'm going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Taking a little mini break from the draft content, but don't worry, we'll have you covered for the scouting combine. Always love kind of covering that, breaking down who to watch out for and also what to watch out for. But today, we're breaking down a little bit on salary cap and also who the Bears might be cutting and why, honestly, I think that it's not as no-brainer as a lot of people think. I think that there's someone down here in my little no-brainer cuts that will break down. But I think that there's a lot of other people that people are assuming that they'll cut that I think might have a chance to stay on the roster. So I'll break that all down. But also, you already know it at Unbearable Sports. I want to try and make you the most educated Bears fans out there with our film reviews and everything else that we do. And I get questions about the salary cap. And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about salary cap just for you as fans. Maybe you've been curious, because I've gotten this question. How do you know what the cap numbers are? How do you know how much guarantees there are on a contract? So I actually want to break it down first, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit more about the cuts. So for people that don't want to hear that, you can just kind of fast forward. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can just kind of look through. We got all the little thumbnails right here in my right-hand side. You can just kind of go down to the no-brainer cuts and the cuts versus trades, and you'll be all set. So let's just kind of go through Salary Cap 101, in case if you were curious about this, because I think a lot of times people get all the different caps kind of mixed up with the NBA, the NFL, right? Because the NBA, they can trade Luka Doncic, who's making all this money, and there's really no penalty, right? But with the NFL, there actually is. So first off, the Bears, just so everyone knows, we have around $64 million of cap space, which is 6. So we're already in a good cap position. But also, when we talk about the whole salary cap piece, the reason why it's different than the NBA and all other sports is the NFL has one of the weirdest cap situations. So let's say we sign someone this year to a $2 million deal, and $1 million of that is guaranteed. What that means, I guarantee you that I will pay you this money. So whenever we talk about cap penalties or what the actual savings are, in this scenario, if we just have someone signing a 1-year deal for $2 million and $1 million is guaranteed, if you cut them, you still have to pay them $1 million. So it's still, that person still counts for $1 million against the cap. But you save $1 million, but $1 million is still on the cap. So that's kind of like whenever we talk about like DJ Moore signing a gigantic deal, he's got all those guarantees onto that contract. So that's why when someone signs a new deal, it's like, okay, there's $40 million guaranteed. So if you cut them, you're going to have to pay back that $40 million to them. So that's why typically you don't end up saving a lot of money with that. So if you're ever curious about those numbers, go to overthecap.com or SpotRack, SPOTRAC. And what you'll see out there is all these lovely charts. And what I love about these charts is, especially over the cap. I love over the cap because you can do cut pre-June 1st and cut post-June 1st and everything like that. So for those that are watching out on YouTube, you can see my screens with all the different numbers. And on the far right, you have how much you will save in cap if you end up cutting them pre-June 1st or post-June 1st and other things like that. So you'll see that the numbers for cuts, trades, it's all out there. That's why Over the Cap is awesome. So if you're ever curious, like, hey, what would happen if we traded Cole Kmet? I just saw him out there because I also did hear someone mention, what if we traded Cole Kmet on an ESPN show? And yeah, you would save $6.8 million this year, but you would obviously still have some penalties that would go on top of it. Would I want to do that? No, I would not want to do that. But also too, just a little nugget too. about the whole June 1st. So what does that mean? Why is it that when you look at the June 1st date on some of these deals, like if we cut Tremaine Edmonds pre-June 1st, we save 4.3, but if we do post-June 1st, it's 6.8. Now, the whole piece of this, I have this little picture of Tariq Cohen right next to me. And the reason why I have Tariq Cohen is because it reminds me of Tariq Cohen. If you remember, he signed that big deal and then he ends up tearing up his knee, unfortunately. So the Bears wanted to get rid of him. And I believe it was something like he was making $6 million a year, but he had $8 million left on his deal over the next 2 years. So if they cut him pre-June 1st, it counts right now. It happens right now. So the good part about cutting someone right now, and why I personally am a fan of cutting someone pre-June 1st, is because all the money happens right now. So if they were to cut him right now, if they cut Tariq Cohen pre-June 1st, they would actually technically be losing $2 million because his cap hit would then be $8 million. But they did post-June 1st, which basically says, all right, it's going to affect right now and in the future. Another good example, this is Nate Davis, because if you think about it, post-June 1st is the season. So we cut Nate Davis during the season. And now this new season that we have, we're still going to be having a penalty for Nate Davis of $2 million because that's still what we owed him. So if we would have waited and we cut him now, we would have still owed him $2 million. So that's why they ended up just cutting him technically post-June 1st with that. And you can designate someone as a post-June 1st cut, and you cannot do that for trades. So just so everyone knows, we can't say this is a post-June 1st trade and we're going to get some first-round draft picks. Just wanted to add that a little bit. And the last little bit that I just want to call out before we get into just everything else, I want to just talk a little bit about trades versus cuts, just in case if you were curious, because if you look at like DeAndre Swift, if you cut DeAndre Swift pre-June 1st, we would save about $500,000. And if you cut him post-June 1st, we would save $1.9 million. But yet again, we'd be paying his salary this year and also have another cap penalty the season after that. So why is it that if we were going to trade him right now, we would save 6.6? Now, I'm not going to go too far into this just because this is Salary Cap 101. And the biggest reason why in some trades, especially, that it's a little different from what I gathered is that basically when you cut someone, you get all of the bonuses that are on that deal. You have to absorb all of them. That's why. So when you cut them, you just basically say, okay, here's all the bonuses we said, here you go. And then if you trade them, basically all the guaranteed money, we still have to pay as the Bears, but some of those bonuses then travel with the contract, and then the Bears don't have to pay that. So it's a weird piece, but that's the reason why those numbers are a little bit off, a little bit different. Too. There's other little stipulations, little things that are out there as well. But like I said, I just wanted to do a brief 101. I didn't want it to take the whole time of the show. Just wanted to talk a little bit about that. So I hope y'all at least appreciate it. Actually, the last little bit that I just want to call out, restructuring, just in case if anyone's curious. Restructuring, think about that. This is what the Saints do. This is what Ryan Pace did all the time. Basically take the money and you just basically push it back out. So with Montez Sweat, we could basically add more signing bonus. That's basically what restructuring is. So you could save $15 million for DJ Moore, but basically that $15 million that we're saving this year is being pushed over to the remainder of his contract. Like I said, that's what the Saints do. They restructure and then push it all down like a really, really bad amount of credit card debt. And now, hey, they're paying the piper. So that's about it from just the overall 101. So now for the people that just fast forwarded, welcome back to the show. We're going to be talking about the cuts, who could be potential salary cap casualties. And also, I want to just say this up front. With the Bears having around $64 million, this isn't our $130 million in salary cap that we've had before, but it's still sixth best in the entire NFL. And I want to say this as well. I don't think we should just cut people for the sake of just saving some money, because when you look at some of the really good teams, they let their people hit free agency. And then when they sign deals, now you could potentially get compensatory picks because they're signing for these other deals. And then now you could potentially get another pick. But the Bears, we've always been buyers rather than sell it. Or we've always been trying to accumulate people. It's just not been working out for us. So that's why my whole take on it is just overall, I don't like cutting someone for the sake of just saving a couple $1 million because, unless it really does make sense. So let's get into this whole no-brainer cuts where I'll be honest, this person is his own tier of this. Like, it's so egregious that this guy has to get cut. He's in his own tier, and that is none other than Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett, if we cut him, we would save $5.5 million, cut pre-June 1st. It's unfortunate. With Gerald Everett, it seems like he was one of those people that whenever someone was saying, hey, we need people that are actually trying out there, that are actually bringing their A game. And then you see Thomas Brown take over, and who gets no snaps or 7, I want to say? Gerald Everett. So everything screams that Gerald Everett is going to be cut. To me, it seems like the writing's on the wall. Seems like he should be that. Unless Ben Johnson was like, you know what? Maybe. But it does seem Gerald Everett, he's probably going to be out of here, especially if you can save $5.5 million. Yeah, that's a lot for someone that has not given you $5.5 million worth of production. So some of you might be thinking, well, what about Ryan Bates? What about DeMarcus Walker? Because I know I'm not the first person to talk about cap casualties. These are the people that I kind of pump the brakes a little bit more. And I'm happy because I'm seeing more people be like, these aren't no-brainers. Like I think a lot of people are kind of pretending that it is. I think that there's two big points that we have to think about when we're talking about Ryan Bates and DeMarcus Walker. Well, actually, technically 3, because Ryan Poles loves Ryan Bates. Because I put this on the graphic, the little heart eyes on him, because he tried to get Ryan Bates twice. Not once, but twice. He was very, very convicted in Ryan Bates. He loved him so much, he grabbed the backup guard and said, you know what? You are going to be my center. He thinks that he sees something with him. I think I would just be surprised if after all that he's been trying to do to try to get Ryan Bates, I would be shocked if he ended up cutting him. But I think like I said, I think it actually goes down to 2 things. 1, scheme fit. If Ryan Bates and DeMarcus Walker are not scheme fits, yeah, they're gone. Like easy. Because Ryan Bates is more of a quick, agile guard. Yet again, guard, not a center. Unfortunately, Ryan Poles. He's a guard. I see him as a utility backup, right? That is something that I see him as. And you see who else is on this team from an interior of the offensive line. Jordan McFadden, Theo Benedette, Chris Glazer, and Ricky Stromberg. Also, when you think about what can you get for $4 million if you cut him, Coleman Shelton was 3, right? So that's where, to me, it really does mean, is he a fit inside of this system? Is he someone that Ben Johnson goes, yeah, I want him? Because if not, you can have a clear, just cut him off the books. He's done. He's gone. And I think that's what it boils down to. Also, is he fully healthy? Because with Ryan Bates, we know this. I'm surprised that I was even able to find a picture with him with the Bears uniform on, with the actual Bears game helmet on, because he never played. So I know that a lot of people hate on Ryan Bates because, yeah, we never saw him. So I think is he a fit in the system and is he fully healthy? And with DeMarcus Walker, the thing that I like about DeMarcus Walker is, first off, his energy. People always talk about his energy, but also just his versatility. But because of that versatility, I feel like he becomes more of a scheme dependent person than a Ryan Bates. Because DeMarcus Walker is a larger defensive end and a smaller scale defensive tackle. So some defensive players might say, or defensive coaches might say, you know what? You're just not what I want inside of my system. So yet again, I put this more on the coaches. Do the coaches want this? Because I like the flexibility of keeping both of these players and being able to get rid of them if something better comes up. Because yet again, I want to go into the draft with my positions fully. I want to come in to the draft with all my positions, just so whoever is available, whatever the best player is, we can take them rather than going, I have to have a tackle. I have to have a guard. I have to have a defensive end, defensive tackle, right? And I'm not saying they're the answers there. I'm saying add more people. And then, yeah, if you need to move on, you can move on. So that's why, to me, those two are the people that I would say are more so on the bubble, mainly because of the coaching. And then last, I just have to have a surprise cuts candidates, other people like that, just so that we at least know that. I think a lot of times people just want to know, can we actually move on from someone? And the headliner, I have 4 people on this list. Like I said, I just want to stress this. I do not believe these people would be cut, but I want to just call this out because, this is a group of people, a group of individuals that I just see their names buzzing around. Number 1 is Cairo Santos, because as we all know, Santos, we saw multiple kicks get blocked. Is that enough for him to be cut? I don't think so. I know a lot of fans want him cut, but this is going to be a decision. Hightower's back. Does Hightower still believe in Cairo Santos? Also, everyone can notice that Ryan Poles does not love these people as much as Ryan Bates as well. No hard eyes here. Second, this is the definition of people posting this just because it's a high salary cap number that we can save, and that's Kevin Byard, savings of $7 million if we were to cut him. I disagree with this wholeheartedly because I like Kevin Byard. I thought he played really well until there was a difference in the regime change after Matt Eberflus left. Kevin Byard his play did drop off. It might just be because, hey, you know what? He knew that nothing good was going to happen. But Byard, he has been just a very good veteran, very good person you want to have in the back end. I like him. And still, you can then draft another person, bring someone in. I like the idea of keeping him, but I saw him out there for a lot of people because of the $7 million. Yet again, with $7 million, you could at least get a pretty good player. But with the other ones where it's like $4 million, it's like you're not getting a starter if you're cutting Ryan Bates for $4 million. What are you getting for that, right? You're getting another backup caliber player. That's where the scheme is so important because, yeah, if I get a scheme-dependent player for $3 million, that's not bad as a backup, right? But then you go into the other players. Tremaine Edmonds, I know he's been kind of a hot button topic just because of how big his contract is. We can get out of it. It would be $4.36 million in savings if we cut him. Yet again, is it worth it? No, unless they're like, I do not want this person in my system. He's gone. So yet again, Tremaine Edmonds probably not going to be gone. And then also Jonathan Owens, I put him on just because he's around $2 million. I like him. I like him at least as the backup. But still, other people that I didn't throw out there were like Dominique Robinson, Elijah Hicks, just because they're all going into their final year of their deal. And they're all around that kind of like $1 million in savings. There's a lot of people that are at that $1 million in savings, but Dominique Robinson, Elijah Hicks, players like that, I don't see them being cut. Like I said, these last 4 don't really expect being cut, but let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Is there someone that you expect to be cut? With these on the bubbles, Ryan Bates, DeMarcus Walker, do you believe that one of these 2 players get cut? Because if I had to bet, if I had to think about it, right? Clearly, I think that Gerald Everett is going to be gone. But I think, I don't know. I just feel like I hope that they just hold on to those players for right now, see how free agency and the draft pan out, and then let them go. But yet again, we'll leave it up to the coaches. The coaches will decide who's there. But if you're out there watching, make sure to like and subscribe because we're going to get back into the draft because it's going to be Combine week. We're going to preview who you got to be watching out for. And also, my favorite, how to kind of watch the Combine so you can make it fun. So with that, make sure to like and subscribe. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and you know that she's a